Good evening, adventurers, and welcome to Knights of Prospect. Thank you so much for joining us this evening on 2MB Studios on Twitch, or maybe you're listening to us as a podcast, in which case, welcome to you as well. Perhaps good morning, perhaps good afternoon.
Who knows?
Who knows? My name is Kaylee Kane, and I tonight will be playing Vil, the Forest Revenant, an elf and archer. Very exciting.
Very, very exciting. Hi, everybody. I'm Sam Hoare. I play Chauncey, young boy wizard, devourer of worlds. Not yet, but I do a bunch of nonsense, lots of nightmare monsters. Always have a great time.
Hello, I am Samantha Levangi. I play Winnie the Bard, who is very eager to solve problems with song and also highly mistrustful of Chauncey in recent days. And I think that's about the relevant information needed to be provided.
Yeah. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Samit. I play Raz Snowberry, cleric / priest. I also have been feeling a little mistrustful of Chauncey based on a prophecy that Winnie and I and another member of our party witnessed a few days ago in world time. But looking forward to seeing what happens next. Game Master, take it away.
Sure. So, hi, everybody. I'm John Serpico. I'm the Game Master for Knights of Prospect. And for those of you joining us for the first time or need a quick refresher, here is one in hopefully 20 seconds or less. So who you are looking at here are the Knights of Prospect, a famed group of adventurers. Raz, Vil, Chauncey, and Winnie were just invited to join them in their quest to make the Riverlands a better and safer place. Currently, though, they're not in the Riverlands. They are across the ocean preparing to return to the Riverlands. And they're kind of gathering their forces and mustering their strength because their home in the Riverlands, Tower Town, has essentially been taken over by an evil clone of a powerful wizard. So that's they can't just show back up. They have a bunch of different things that they need to do first. And one of those things was they needed to kind of that's a little harsh, explore a religious site. And in that religious site were apparently ancient stone carvings that more or less pointed to the fact that Chauncey would unleash some kind of chaos or havoc upon the Riverlands.
Hey!
And, it's centuries-old stone carvings, so it's probably true. But we're not going to worry about that right now. Let's instead focus on the task at hand. So Raz, Vil, Chauncey, and Winnie, the four of you have been dispatched by the rest of the Knights of Prospect to a small port town on the coast of the theocracy of Enteresh, which is the country you're in right now. And the reason why you've been dispatched there is that the other Knights of Prospect believe that this little port town will be the perfect place to kind of build your headquarters, muster your strength, and eventually build a fleet of ships so that you can all sail home. So you're kind of there to scout it out, essentially. But as you're approaching, well, before we get there, I want one of you to name this town, and everyone else to just give me a sentence about what you've been told about the town.
Oh yes, we're approaching Pheasantsville.
As a coastal town, this is actually the landing place of many birds that migrate during the winter from the north. And so it is, of course, named after the pheasant that is the most common migratory bird. Definitely what that bird is in the town. Yeah.
We've been told that people are generally kind, but tend to keep to themselves. It is a small town and a small community, and people are generally wary of outsiders. So we've been told not to push too hard.
And the reason they are wary of outsiders is that annually there is a festival here, which is known throughout Enteresh, which is the hunting of the pheasant. And the greatest hunter in the land of Enteresh is anointed at this annual festival. So all these people come in from around the lands, and they kind of, rent hotels, rent motels, and eat the local food. And it's a very touristy place for a little while, and it kind of annoys the locals.
The tradition started actually because there was actually a peasant population problem. There was a really extreme population of pheasants for a very long time. It would cover the rooftops and the roads. In mythology, local mythology, pheasants were actually a plague beset upon the town for old transgressions against a famed wizard.
Does anointed mean to cover in anointment?
It, so to speak, yes. And anointment is made of pheasant blood and guts, of course.
So to speak.
So to speak, yes.
So to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Another fun thing about this town is that the town has a mascot, and the mascot is a giant pheasant.
Yeah. Yeah, we've heard the costume is amazing.
And what's the name of the mascot?
Cornwall.
Cornwall, the mascot.
Cornwall, the pheasant.
Yeah, so you're camped on a ridge, kind of as it slopes down into the coastline, and you're just all kind of observing the town and just taking your time and assessing it before you actually ride in and try to figure out if the knights can relocate here. So let's just join you there. You're all on a hill, all on your horses, looking at the town.
Have any of you ever eaten pheasant?
Yes.
How is it? You have? Oh,
It's a bird.
right. How's the meat?
Bird-like.
A little gamey,
Mm.
kind of like tougher.
Mm-hmm.
It's good in stews.
Mm. Or very slowly roasted.
Mm.
Oh. How do you slow roast pheasant?
Hobie is getting upset.
Yeah, Hobie, Vill's business partner and dear friend, is also a duck, and is doing his absolute best to keep a poker face on while you're talking about this, but it is not working.
Ducks don't have very good poker faces.
No, and he doesn't care to hear about the different fashions in which we cook birds.
Oh.
He's a bird, you see.
I see. Hobie, I'm sorry. I didn't mean anything by it.
If it helps, I wouldn't slow roast a duck.
Okay.
I wouldn't even know how. How would you do that?
Well, maybe I'll tell you later, Chauncey.
Okay.
Hobie, you know that if anyone tried to roast you, I would kill them in a gruesome way.
Phil is so sweet.
Come on, there would be no circumstance, no matter how hungry we were, no matter where or when we were, that we would roast Hobie.
Of course not.
Isn't that right? We can make a pact.
Absolutely.
Let's make a pact.
Yeah. Chauncey starts drawing a circle around.
No.
I slice open my hand and I hold it out.
This was absolutely
Here on
unnecessary.
this day, us four solemnly swear to never roast our duck companion Hobie.
Lest
Everyone-
they be killed by me in a gruesome way. Amen. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you.
The pact is made.
I would much sooner roast Chauncey.
Same. I was thinking the same thing.
And with the pact made ensuring Hobie's safety,
Yes.
one of you notices something about the town that takes you off guard, looks a little strange from this distance. What is it?
There's a house on fire.
Yeah, there's a house on fire. Yeah, let's describe the house. Where is it in the town?
It's a
So
little bit farther off. Most of the houses are clumped together in the square, but this one is kind of off on its own.
Yeah, it's so the roof of the place looks like it's caught. And actually the buildings here are fairly nice. It is a small town and it's a coastal town, but the buildings are very well made. So it's not like straw roofs, it's actually shingled roofs. So the fact that there's a fire burning through one of these kind of suburban, so to speak, or far off houses is definitely concerning. Whatever's going on in there is very bad.
Chauncey,
Yes.
so one of the hazards of not roasting pheasant properly
Mhm.
is fire. Maybe that's what happened.
You think there's a pheasant cooking gone awry?
I don't want to jump to conclusions,
Some
but
kind
it is a very technical process that I will
Maybe
later.
we should stop conjecturing why the fire's happening and go help put it out.
Okay, I start running towards the fire.
Yeah, so Chauncey, you head down, you start heading down the hill and sprinting towards this burning building. And as you get closer and closer, you're already starting to feel the heat kind of come off of it. What's your approach to trying to put out this fire?
No, I'm here. I'm looking at the fire. It's very, very hot. I'm looking at my hands. I probably shouldn't put more fire. Does fire cancel out fire? Probably not. I start kicking dust up at it.
Sure. Let's see if through the miracle of dice that works. Let's have you roll a 2d6 defy danger. Let's say 2d6 plus your strength, because you're trying to really whip a lot of dirt and dust into the fire that's caught this whole side of the house. It's going to be a -2 because this is a lot of dirt.
7. I'm kicking dirt up so hard.
Okay, so the good news is you don't hurt yourself or burn yourself or get too close. But the fact of the matter is, you all kind of end up joining Chauncey in this process. But this is a decent sized home, and it's on fire, and no amount of dirt kicking can really do something.
I want to call inside and just say, is anyone in there who needs help?
Yeah, Winnie, let's have you roll. I'm not going to make you roll to yell. You have a voice that carries as a bard, but give me 2d6 plus wisdom to discern realities. You're going to try to figure out what's going on in there.
8.
8. So you can ask me one question from the discern realities list, and I will answer it.
So, what happened here recently?
Well, what happened here is that there's no one in this house, but something in it caught fire on its own.
All right. No problem. No one's
Call out,
inside.
you don't hear anything in response, and you realize that whatever's going on is a human didn't instantly cause this fire.
Looks like everything's okay then. Shall we head to the pub?
Maybe you can notify someone in town who might have the resources to get rid of the fire.
Yeah, sounds good to me. So yeah, you wander into the town, and not wander. You move with purpose. And let me ask you: this town, Pheasantville, are there people milling about, or is it quiet?
Very quiet town.
Hello? There's fire.
No one seems to be worried about the fire.
There's no pheasants on the street at this time of year either.
We need a lot more feet to kick up enough dirt for this fire.
Yeah, there is nobody here. You're calling out. You're flailing. You're flailing your arms, trying to get a sense of things.
They keep sending us places that end up being empty of the people we are supposed to see.
Well, maybe if there's nobody else around to deal with the fire, we could form a sort of line
It
to
is
the
a
shore?
pond. There's a lot of water very close by.
Oh.
At around this moment, well, it's hard to get a sense of its size, but objectively speaking, it's the size of a horse cart. A ball of fire the size of a horse cart arcs from somewhere in the distance, further up the coast, and slams into another one of the buildings, catching it on fire.
Well, this is going to take more than a bucket. Hobie, can you fly up and see where those balls of fire are coming from?
Hobie, are we under siege?
Hobie takes off. This is strange. There's no one in this town, and someone has tossed at least one, but likely two, giant balls of fire into Pheasantville proper.
Maybe that's why there's no one in the town.
Because it's raining fire?
Yes, because it's raining fire.
But what about the pheasant celebrations? What about Cornwall?
I don't know. Should we?
I think
Go
we should
close to
enter. We should enter a building. Maybe the pub. Maybe a library. Maybe a school. See if people are kind of hiding. See if anybody's around. If they've left already.
Into the pub we go.
Sure. So you walk into the pub, and well, here's the question: is the pub empty, or is there someone inside?
There is someone inside.
There is someone inside. Who is this person?
It is. It's the barkeep. It's the barkeep who is by herself and has poured herself a bar full of local ale and is just downing them one at a time.
And she is wearing the pheasant costume. Excellent.
Yeah, she's in the Cornwall getup. The big Cornwall pheasant head is hanging on a hook behind her, and she is with grim resolve working left to right and slowly polishing off big clay mugs of ale. And
Finally, we can figure out what's going on around here. Someone who will make sense of this.
Wait.
Hello.
Hello. This is a trick, isn't it? I'm not talking to you. I said they could burn it before I surrender.
I would like to kind of utilize my charming and open skill to ask them, how are you feeling right now?
Yeah, so Winnie, as a bard whose skills have kind of developed to an even greater extent recently, you're really able to kind of take a moment and calm a situation and be very open and honest with someone, and invariably their guard is let down.
I take a glass from her hand as she's about to down her next pitcher of ale, and
Thank you very much, Winnie.
Pass it off to Vil naturally, and I look her in the eyes and I say, how are you feeling right now?
Well, honestly, I expect this to be the last day I'm alive. And I think I'm okay with that, because that means that they're not going to win.
So,
Who?
Well, I guess you don't work for them. The Milgrabish brothers.
Milgrabish brothers.
The Milgrabish brothers.
Oh boy,
I thought you worked for them.
that sounds like some serious stuff. I go and I lean against the bar. I'll take a milk. Oof. I want to make a just a pheasant head to match her some head.
Sure, yeah. You use your magic and kind of quickly conjure a pheasant head, and yeah. The bartender introduces herself as Peary.
Peary.
And Peary is also one of the essentially on this town's council. And according to her, she is the last person in the town. And yeah, she Chauncey pours you a a nice lukewarm mug of milk.
Mm.
Yeah, I sent
We've all been
everyone else.
here.
Mm-hmm. I sent everyone else in the town away when the Milgrabish brothers came and demanded fealty from us, and no one in Sepulchre City. Well, we sent some people south to try to get aid from the city, but no one's come back.
Well, your aid has arrived then. Peary, can you tell us anything about these Milgarbage brothers?
Well, they're big. I probably should mention they're hill giants.
Mm.
Hill giants.
Mm.
No problem.
Mm.
About 15 feet tall, and well, apparently pretty good with siegecraft. I would not be surprised if they built that giant catapult they were talking about. When they came to town, they said, "You will swear fealty to us, the Milgrabish brothers, or we will build a large catapult outside of town and rain fire down upon you."
Chauncey, what is siegecraft?
Siegecraft is like it's like big. Like, think about how you'd throw a really big rock and now turn that into like made of wood and metal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, Peary, thank you for the explanation. I don't expect their siegecraft will be much of a problem for us.
Yeah.
And we will take care of those Milgarbage brothers for you, and you can continue to live your pleasant lives.
Oh yeah, we'll take care of the Milgrabbages real quick.
That Milgarbage is going to be thrown out into the street.
Yes. Believe us, we are no fan of Milgarbage.
No.
Oh.
Well, that's awfully kind of you to help. I obviously had given up hope. Honestly, I was drinking to the end of it all. I hate to be so grim now that you're here.
Well, why don't we all drink to the not end of it all, and then we'll go take down those Milgoblin brothers.
May us never even be involved with the end of everything.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Sure. So you head out, and what you heard from Peary, the bar owner / councilwoman, was that there's a hill to the north of town that apparently these hill giant brothers said that they would build this piece of siegecraft on. And you kind of get out into the outskirts of town. As you are, two things happen. One, Hobie returns panicked and says that about half a mile north is, well, he doesn't say anything, but it's a lot of this.
Yes. We just heard about them. Hobie, you well know I've taken down hill giants before, and I'm sure today won't be the last time I do. We'll head there right away. Well, you can stay here if you want to, but I figured you might want to help. I do, and you can have some on the way.
What's our plan of attack, do you think?
Oh, I'm going to feed Hobie a little bit of ale on the way to give him some fighting spirit.
Ooh.
And then our plan of attack is to attack them, I think. How does that sound to you?
Do we want to do it in a sneaky way? Do we want to just go right up and start hitting them? We could do that trench coat thing again where we just pile on top of one another, though that didn't turn out great last time.
Last time we piled into a trench coat, I did kill Raz.
Well, then this
And-
time will almost definitely go better.
I'd like to think so, but perhaps, Winnie, your idea of sneaking up on them and then
Then big
attacking.
giant fireball.
You know what, Chauncey? Today of all days, I think a big giant fireball may actually be appropriate.
It's on my mind today.
Here's an idea. We could lure them into the sea where, as we all know, hill giants can't swim.
Yes,
And
they're
they will
incredibly
drown
dense.
they will drown to death.
How?
What kind of thing lures a hill giant?
I
Well,
could stand
yeah,
there, like a good distance away and go, yoo-hoo, hill giants.
Mhm.
We could set up a roasting station for Chauncey and lure them to a great meal.
And then I get to learn to roast something.
That might actually work.
And I can use a fireball for my roasting station?
You know, hill giants are notoriously always in search of small boys to eat.
That's true.
And the magical ones kind of pop in your mouth.
Only boys, not girls. It's only boys.
Yeah.
Only young boys.
Tower Town has some weird folk kind of stories. They're very specific people.
So
Why don't
Chauncey,
let's set up. Well, why
it's
don't
gotta
you
be
all? You all can set up the roasting Chauncey scene, and why don't me and Hobie make our way to the other side of them, and perhaps we can sort of chase them in this direction until they come into eye shot of Chauncey on the roasting spit.
Just to clarify the plan for a moment. So we will be roasting something. Chauncey, and the hill giants are going to come running towards us to eat Chauncey, and then we are going to take Chauncey and throw him into the ocean, and they're going to run into the ocean. Chauncey will swim back, and they will drown. Is that right?
I'll pretend like I'm going to have a meal and I am very upset that they want to share. And so instead of sharing, I will toss him into the ocean because better that no one have a bite of Chauncey.
Wait. How about this? Hill giants, they're very big heads, top heavy. They're very top heavy.
top
The
heavy,
balance is terrible.
Uh-huh.
If we set up the roasting Chauncey scene at the edge of the dock, then perhaps you all can escape by rolling into the dock. And if we can just knock them off balance just once, they should topple right in and sink to the bottom of the sea.
As long as I still get to be tossed into the sea at the end. It just sounded, I had some gusto to it. I like this idea. It's hot and cold. It sounds very fun.
Yes, you
Chauncey,
can still. We can also just go swimming afterwards too, if that. No,
I
we'll
would
toss you.
Oh,
Into,
wait,
would
we'll
say
see.
that.
we'll toss you into the sea, of course.
This plan is flawless.
Yeah, usually our plans are like, I don't know. I'm like, I'd rather just do something big, but this is right on the money. This is very exciting.
I
We're
don't
using
see how
our
this plan
mind.
could fail.
Okay. I love this. It has begun. Let's see. Winnie, let's have you roll 2d6 plus your charisma. Don't tell me what you get. Just roll it and keep that number in your mind for later. Okay. So the work takes place on this kind of scene / contraption in which Chauncey, a young boy, is being prepared to be cooked on the dock, such that at some point the hill giants will emerge and great conversation will take place, and they'll go into the water.
And I'm asking Winnie as this happens. I'm asking Winnie. So this is proper roasting for all things. What you're doing with me right now?
Sure. So I've begun to set up kind of like an arch, and in the center is a So before I stole my sister's voice, I was actually an apprentice builder. We're building this kind of arch, and there's like a spit that you're going to be tied to, and on the underneath is this fire. I borrowed a giant pot from the barkeep so that the fire wouldn't eat through the wood on the dock, and so you'll just slowly, I'll turn you on the spit and you'll slowly begin to roast. You'll char a little bit on the outside first, and then your insides will be cooked.
And the turning is so that I cook evenly. Is that correct?
Exactly.
Excellent.
Winnie, is that true that you used to be a builder's apprentice?
Yes.
Vil, you're north of town with Hobie, kind of working your way through underbrush and between trees to try to get eyes on the Milgrabish brothers.
Yes.
2d6 plus your dexterity, please. I want to know how good you are at the sneaking.
I am all right at the sneaking. I rolled an 8 total.
Okay. Well, an 8's a partial success. So the way I'll play it is the good news is that they don't see you. The bad news is that what you see is terrifying.
Okay.
You're working your way through the underbrush, and there's, as you're moving, you're thinking, it's like, well, I hope I'm going in the right direction. And then you see from ahead of you, like another ball of fire arc through the sky back towards Pheasantville. Okay, well, this must be the right place.
Okay.
And you're walking, and Hobie's kind of skulking along with you. And you get to the edge of a copse of trees, and you look up. There is a little kind of hill, seaside cliff kind of thing. And you see this big hulking figure slowly working this giant wheel, like a ship's wheel, to retract the arm of the catapult back down. You just see one figure. But this figure is wearing enormous, heavy, spiked armor. Like just big, that's like the side of a building almost. This big slab of iron armor, iron leg greaves, big iron, like looks like a boiler. And you hear a conversation from up there. Well, I don't understand it. If we burn down the town, then there will be no one to give us fealty. Well, that's not the point. The point is, we said we would, and so we shall. Both of you need to be quiet because I am in charge and I have made the calculation. This whole conversation is happening. You only see one of them. Until, in fact, this figure turns around and you realize what you're looking at. A gigantic, fully armored, 3-headed hill giant. With all 3 heads actively arguing with each other as they are, with their bare hands, loading giant burning balls of like tree sap soaked boulder.
Well, I have to say, this is, of course, terrifying in a bodily way. However, 3 heads means it's that much more top heavy with still only 2 arms to hit me with. So I'm feeling quite confident.
Yeah, Hobie agrees. You end up getting into a position kind of behind them. So, half a mile to the south is Pheasantville, where the Chauncey roasting station has been assembled. And then there's them. And then like a few feet north of them is you. And you're just kind of watching them as they do this. So, what's the plan?
Is there trees? Is there plenty of trees?
There are plenty of trees.
There are plenty of trees. Fantastic. That, of course, as you know, Game Master, is very important to me. Here is what I am going to do. I'm going to send Hobie flying overhead, but quite close, to hopefully catch their attention, distract them for just a moment, and I am going to pierce them with an arrow.
Got it. So yeah, you send Hobie on, on one of his kind of distract and alert mission. And so he takes off from the copse of trees that you're in, kind of banking and flying low, honking like it is his business, because it is his business. And one of the heads of the Milgrabish brothers turns, "Oh, duck! I could use one of those. You ever roast a duck?" "No, the time is not now to discuss the roasting of duck. We must destroy a town. Both of you focus on the task. Why is there a duck here?" Shoot your arrow.
I'm feeling extremely angry that this is twice in one day Hobie is having to hear about being roasted. And that has me a bit distracted. That will be a 9.
Okay. So you kind of not. Well, tell me what your damage is.
That's a great question, Game Master. What is
1d
my damage? Yes, of course. Which will bring it to a 6.
Okay. You knock, you fire. You're trying to aim for a soft spot, and you fire, and an arrow unfortunately just hits dead center of this thing's back, bounces off the armor. And now this was a partial success. So the hill giant kind of stands up and turns and faces you. All three face you. "And what is this now?"
This is Vil.
"Should
sent
we
another
be
arrow.
impressed?"
I'd like to shoot it in the head, please.
All right, shoot it in the head. Tell me what you get.
10.
You shoot it in the head. Do your damage.
1.
Okay. You shoot it. You shoot one of them in the head, and the arrow kind of resonantly bounces off its skull, and that particular giant head says, "Ah!" The other two look at each other, and with their combined might, pick up and hurl a flaming boulder at you with their bare hands.
Fantastic.
2d6 plus dexterity, please.
Yes. 9.
Okay. The good news is that you avoid the boulder, which probably would kill you. The bad news is the flaming boulder kind of rolls through the copse of trees, and you're now just in the middle of a firestorm.
The trees are still there.
They are still there, but burning. At least one of them isn't, if that's what you're looking for.
Yes. I am looking for a not burning tree.
All right, you find one.
I'd like to step into that tree and step out of a tree still within eyeshot of the hill giants, but closer to town.
Gotcha. Describe to the audience what this looks like.
It looks like the tree is sort of absorbing my body, taking it into itself, and then it looks like my body is being recreated by another tree closer to town, but still within eyeshot of the hill giants.
And that is, in point of fact, exactly what happens. So you kind of emerge from another tree and start taking off back towards town. The two still conscious Milgrabish brothers we see, turn away from the giant catapult and pick up a sword. It's not so much a sword as it is the side of a rowboat that has a handle on it. And it begins the slow, metallic, thunderous cacophony of it running downhill into town. Anyway, back in town, the feast is being prepared. Winnie, you have kind of constructed this thing here. And what's everyone doing to prepare? Because at this point, you now see Vil in the distance, because the dock is out a little ways, and so you have the angle to see it. Vil is sprinting down the hill, and probably 50 or 60 feet behind her is a giant 3-headed hill giant covered in plate armor, wielding the side of a rowboat like a sword.
Raz,
Mm-hmm.
what seasoning should we put on Chauncey to best entice the hill giants?
Ooh.
Ooh. Probably some red pepper, some turmeric, maybe a little.
And I start rubbing things on Chauncey's face and into Chauncey's hair.
Fresh ginger, some parsley, give it some greens.
Open your mouth.
Ah.
Stuff some herbs in there.
Do we have
Right.
garlic cloves? If we could fry up some garlic cloves, that would be fantastic.
Yes, yes. I throw some into the fire.
This
And
will
so-
trick them
And
good.
let's make them beer batter.
Continue.
Oh, they are gonna feel like such fools when they come running at me.
Sorry, did you say make some beer batter?
Let's go ahead and make them beer batter. I brought some of the ale from the place, and let's just pour it on them.
Sure.
Yeah, drench me in beer batter. I'll be so. They'll try to grab me, and they'll be like, "Oh, we're ridiculous. We're trying to get this boy. We can't. He's running into the water."
Sure. So we've mixed together like this paste of flour and beer, and I kind of like dump it on Chauncey, also encased in these spices.
He smells delicious.
Thank you very much.
That wizard is ready for the deep fryer. Vil, you kind of sprint onto the dock and start sprinting towards. And yeah, sure enough, at the end of the dock is this kind of little archway, and Chauncey's up on there. He is covered in beer batter and smells delicious. And you kind of get there, and you all kind of look, and at the end of the dock, now rapidly approaching, is the Milgrabish brothers, the now 3-headed giant, because the third head re-woke back up. And it kind of stops 20, 30 feet away. And they all say in unison, "And what is this now?"
Oh, just a roasting boy.
Who is
sure
so
does look
terrified,
Ah,
terrified to be eaten.
what?
Is
You're
this
like a human, but so big. That's unexpected and scary to me. Sorry, Raz. I think I stepped on your line. What was it, Raz?
a live little boy to eat? Boy, I can't wait.
Good job.
Winnie, what was that charisma roll you rolled before?
9.
Okay. What this means is that the hill giants, you had it right, the hill giants do, in fact, consider young humans to be a delicacy. And so it begins approaching. Looks to be too much young human for just the 3 of you.
Is it on the docks yet?
He's on the docks. He's slowly, and like the boards of the docks are like bending under the weight. You're willing to bet that with the armor on, this hill giant probably weighs a ton, a literal ton.
Perfect. Winnie, just a little closer.
I'm sorry, but you did not rankle this boy yourself. We lured him out here to be eaten by both of us,
Well, yes.
not
and-
to be shared with a giant.
Yes. Where is that? Golden goose that I was promised.
Well, you see, this is where you're confused. Yes, confused. You may not know, but this town has pledged its fealty to me, which means that any roasting of young human must be done with my approval.
Fealty? Did you say fealty?
The third head chimes in. Fealty. Fealty is what happens when the powerful ask the weak to give them food so that the powerful do not destroy them with siegecraft.
Fealty? Raz, is that really a word? Are they making up words?
Bill, that's a real word.
Okay, sorry to interrupt. Continue.
I did not know either of them.
Slowly getting closer.
Uh,
Unless you plan on offering me half, I'm going to have to put a stop to all of this.
Ah, because you are owed fealty.
fealty. I'm with
Yes, that's right. That is indeed right. Yes, that is correct. Fealty.
Are they over deep enough water to be fully submerged?
Well, it depends on what you plan on doing and what the dice say.
Of course. I am going to grab my rope that has been previously snared, and I am going to do my classic move of running, sliding underneath their feet, and snaring them on the way through.
Got it. Sounds good. This is going to be a hack and slash. That'll be 2d6 plus your strength, but because it looks so cool, I'm going to give you a +1.
Ah, and because I have done it before.
And you haven't done it before.
Of course, and that will be an 11.
Okay. So yeah, Vil, you take off at a sprint. You pick up the rope. It's been strategically tied. This hill giant is now, kind of screaming in great detail the nuances of fealty systems and feudal law while arguing with itself. You run. About halfway through, one of the heads notices, wait a minute, you're that elf that I recently tried to murder. And at that point, you slide through its legs, kind of wrap the rope around and give it a yank. And this hill giant smashes one of its knee, falls to a knee. And as it does, kind of the armored knee smashes through the docks. And it is now in chest-deep water beneath the docks, kind of yelling and screaming and flailing with its giant rowboat blade.
Oh no! Quick, the plan! Someone throw me into the water!
I panic and I push Chauncey into the water.
Winnie, did you untie Chauncey before you pushed him in?
Chauncey, you have been tossed into the water covered in beer batter and tangled up in ropes. I need you to roll 2d6 plus your dexterity and tell me what you get.
9!
Okay. There are two things that need to happen, Chauncey, for you to be safe. A 9 is enough for one of them to have happened. Tell me which of these two things have happened. You keep your head above water, or you untangle yourself from the ropes.
I entangle myself from the ropes.
Okay. Raz, you look down, you're standing on now what is essentially a, 8-foot by 8-foot wooden platform, because most of the dock has been smashed through with hill giant. And on this platform, you saw Winnie kind of push Chauncey into the water. You see a bunch of ropes bubble up to the surface, but no Chauncey, and you're pretty sure he is drowning.
Ooh. I am going to jump in after him.
Okay, you jump in after him. Raz, give me 2d6 plus... I don't know. Call it Constitution. You got to hold your breath.
Off to a bad start. We've got a 4.
Okay. Winnie and Vil, the hill giant is, slowly sinking into loamy, saturated beach sand. But also, you're pretty sure that Raz and Chauncey are drowning.
I'm grabbing at Raz.
I'm holding Chauncey. We're both flailing to the top.
So what do we want to do?
Can I sing to the fish to try to get to help them? My long-hailed ability to commune with fish.
That's the shocking thing about Winnie the Bard, is that there is no reason in terms of magical theory why an elven bard can commune successfully with fish as often as she does. Yet it's one of the great quirks of the Knights of Prospect and the brave folks that serve within it. So yes, Winnie, roll to commune with fish May we hope they are friendly.
My abilities fail me today. It was a 6.
Okay.
It's been a while.
You kind of walk toward you extend your arms and you begin kind of the fish song that you have now sung multiple times. Unfortunately, it is drowned out by the thrashing of the Milgrabish brothers, who, despite being slowly sinking into sand, is slowly moving towards you,
God.
swinging the giant rowboat sword. Its first blow, unfortunately, smashes apart some of the timbers of the dock, meaning instead of a 10 by 10 square, you're now along like a little 4-foot chunk of dock that is left. Raz and Chauncey still underwater.
For a second, my face lifts above water, and I just yell, "Help!" And then I'm back under.
Bill, any ideas?
Yeah, I suppose it's time for me to help Raz and Chauncey not drown. I'll dive into the water and guide them to the dock.
Very fair. 2d6 plus your constitution, please.
Oh, boy. It's a 6. That's a 6 total.
Reaching up and I find Phil and just pull her under.
No!
Okay, Winnie, here's how this is going.
Yay, Bill's here!
Oh my god! I'm gonna come back alone. It's like what happened to the others. They drowned.
Thank you for joining us for the final episode of Knights of Prospect.
The knights versus the water.
Yeah, drowning in like 5 feet of water. This is
Can I drown, technically, Game Master? Is this worth asking? Can I technically drown?
I have an answer in my head, but I don't want to share it just yet. Winnie, the picture is just over this way is a hill giant that is now rearing back to crash this giant sword of his into the last bit of dock. And immediately behind you are your 3 friends in 5 to 6 feet of water under a giant pile of ropes, and you think they are drowning.
Oh, can okay.
Winnie,
Winnie makes it good.
we are drowning.
I know. Flood of attack. Is there more rope on the dock near me?
Yeah.
There's not a boat or a life like saber thing or anything. Is there?
Yeah, there's a kind of a big piece of kind of linen wrapped cork that in the rare event that someone drowns in these waters can be tossed in.
Okay. I toss that in towards them. And as I do that, I would like to sing a song to try to give them confidence in their or calm in the face of a panic drowning.
That sounds really nice.
I'm so glad that we're all going to drown feeling calm.
You guys vaguely hear something?
So let's roll 2d6 plus charisma.
Four.
Bloop. Bloop.
Oh,
Can
oh God.
I hand Chauncey the cork preserver so that he stops pulling me under?
Yeah. So, Winnie, you start you kind of toss this in and you start singing to kind of gird them with strength. And it's at roughly that moment that the giant like rowboat blade smashes into the dock and sends you flying into the water. You take 6 damage, and you also kind of tumble into the water as well. Chauncey, yeah, you grab at the you grab at the kind of the linen wrapped cork life preserver that like Vil pushes to you. You see you're underwater. There are ropes above your head. You see the shape of the hill giant, like this giant shadow moving towards you as it sinks. You're holding the cork life preserver. You pop your head up above the water for a moment. What do you do?
Oh, I'm above the water for a moment?
For a moment.
Oh. I summon a friend. I'm gonna summon a big old Madam Octopus.
Okay. This is going to be one of your particularly powerful spells, Summon Monster. 2d6 plus your intelligence. I wish you all the luck in the world.
That's a 12. Come on.
So it's 4.
Ah!
Oh.
Okay.
Question: am I just in the water or am I drowning?
This is what happens when we make plans.
You're in the water, Winnie. You're not drowning.
Okay.
And thankfully, because you're not drowning, you have the wherewithal to get a sense of a massive, and I mean massive, amount of magical energy that is somehow crackling around you. Let's jump to a different part of the world for a moment. In the Grand Ocularium of the Arcane College in Tower Town is Archmage Akka, the cloned wizard that is in charge of Tower Town's defense. The one, Chauncey, that you pulled from the plane of oblivion, and he has now installed himself as Tower Town's great protector.
Do they call it an Ocalarium because it's where Akka is?
That's correct.
Thank you.
He is sitting in a, big ornate wooden chair, and there is around him as he's sitting exactly 29 wizards, all working on a ritual circle that is so elaborate and so nuanced and detailed that, Chauncey, if you were to study it, it would take you a year to fully document what it does. In the middle of it is another Archmage Akka wearing a silver helmet. At the exact moment that you started summoning that giant octopus, hundreds of miles away, the Archmage Akka that was in the middle of the circle opened his eyes, looked up, turned to the other Archmage Akka and said, "Now, it's happening right now." And the Archmage Akka in the chair stands up and says, "Begin the ritual immediately." And a chorus of 29 wizards begin to sing.
What?
No. Madam Octopus, no.
Chauncey, you see in your mind's eye what you want to summon. Describe it to me.
It's large, very large, very many long-reaching tendrils that have suction cups all around them. They all come to the center in one bulbous head with a giant pink piercing eye. It looks almost like a gemstone.
Chauncey, how do you think of these nightmarish creatures?
It just comes to me. I don't know what to say, Vil.
Chauncey, you craft this thing in your mind.
Don't worry, guys. This will help us a lot.
You see it form on the weird ethereal plane where these nightmare creatures you summon come from. You see it form, you see its size, it's getting bigger. It is in point of fact more impressive and larger and more terrifying than anything you've ever summoned before.
It has one giant ear on the back of its head.
The better to hear the screams of those
Help.
that it will consume. You see it emerge, and in your mind, once you build it in this ethereal plane, you kind of open up a gate, and it drops into this world. But as you're opening up a gate, you see in the plane another gate open, and this giant, horrible thing falls to somewhere else in the world.
It went the wrong way.
The wrong
Madam
way.
Octopus.
How did that happen?
I don't know what that means.
There's like an ethereal plane. You can bring things in, bring things forth. You call them out, and then they drop, right? Like Mr. Nose.
Oh, I remember him.
This one went out the wrong door. I think someone like took my friend. I don't know.
It's not here. That should have worked, and it's not here, and you saw what happened, and you don't like it.
Madam Octopus, Madam Legs, where'd you go?
The hill giant is moving towards you all. Vil, you realize after a few minutes of like struggling, trying to keep Chauncey up, trying to clear the rope from above your head and checking on Winnie and Raz, that you that like the air in your lungs is running out. But you're just very, very dedicated to keeping everyone else in the fight. The fire is building within your lungs, and instinctually you let out all the air, and you realize, oh no, my lungs are going to fill with water. But in that moment, you realize you don't need to breathe.
All right.
What do you want to do?
So I don't need to breathe. I'm underwater, not breathing, and it's fine.
It's fine.
Wonderful. I'm going to swim under the water, continuing to not breathe and feel fine to the end of the dock, the deepest point. The hill giant is getting closer and closer. I'm still holding my snare.
Yep.
Hill giants are very top heavy. I attach the end of my snare to a brand new arrow that appears in my hand. I reach up with my bow. I aim just over the head of the hill giant. My intention is to snare the head of the hill giant around the neck, give it one sharp pull, and topple it off the end of the dock.
2d6 plus your dexterity for a volley. Good luck.
Come on, Bill.
Okay. It's a 7.
Okay. You line up the shot. You get the snare around. You fire, and it arcs through its head. Kind of the snare catches one of the heads, and it starts wrenching backwards.
Can at this moment,
Yeah.
I unleash my metal hurlant, and I just, out of frustration, scream in an attempt to distract and confuse this monster as it's this hill giant as it's being ensnared.
2d6 plus Constitution.
10.
You're floating above the water in like the wreckage of the dock, and you fill your lungs up with air, and you buffet this giant, flailing, monstrous hill giant with deafening magical energy. One of them turns and tries to scream at the other. They're tricking us! They're tricking us! Steady the left side! What?
I screamed too! Ah!
And
Raz, scream!
Ah!
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 And a grand cacophony of screaming hill giants, screaming wizards, screaming cleric, screaming bard, and screaming forest revenant at the bottom of the sea all confuse the hill giant. It starts sinking deeper and deeper. It's losing its footing. It's trying to claw off its iron armor.
I give one final yank of my snare.
And down it goes, and it does not come up.
Are me and Chauncey still underwater, or are we floating?
You end up figuring out which way is up.
I finally get a hold on Raz's shoulders and push him down to come back up above.
I'll go swim underneath Raz and let Raz stand on my shoulders to climb up onto the dock.
I'm trying to scramble on the dock, and I'm just running around screaming. I'm looking for my monster friend. Rat octopus! Guys, I don't... This has never happened before. She is somewhere.
Chauncey, the fact that there is not a second monster here is not concerning me right now.
She's my friend. She was gonna help us, but if I'm not there, I don't know what she's gonna do at all. This is a weird.
Maybe you accidentally summoned her, a couple feet off or a couple hundred yards off target. Maybe she's on land somewhere suffocating because she's not underwater.
She's not slow. She would try to come to me. I'm pretty sure. If I'm not there to send her back, I don't know if she's gonna leave.
Guys, let's focus on the positives here.
Thank you,
The
Raz.
hill giants are gone. We saved the town. There are hundreds of glasses of ale that are ready for us to drink back at the bar.
Raz, maybe you could give Chauncey one of your chants to ease his worries.
Ah, yes. Chauncey, repeat after me.
Okay. Guys, I think it's pretty good.
Resh, enter resh.
Resh,
Enter resh.
Resh, enter resh.
Resh, enter resh.
Say hello. Enter
Say hello.
Say hello.
Enter resh.
Say hello to Enteresh.
Yes.
In the days that follow, the residents of Pheasant Town return. They were hiding in farmhouses and in caves. They eventually reinforcements from Sepulchre City arrive.
Hi, have you seen a very large octopus? Hi, has anyone
No, we haven't.
Really large octopus?
Chauncey,
Nope.
nobody knows what that is.
Big ear. Big ear. It's like a fish with a lot of arms, Phil.
I don't like when you call me that, Chauncey, and I still don't know what an octopus is.
I'm sorry. Big ear, giant ear, octopus.
Stop, Chauncey. Stop it. That's not a nice nickname.
Feel like I'm sorry. I conjured some flowers to give to Phil.
These are very nice.
Thank you. You're welcome.
The conversation with Peary and the other town elders when they return about using the town's shipbuilding capabilities to build a fleet and relocate the Knights of Prospect here goes very well. You came here and the Knights of Prospect defeated a great evil, a huge enemy, and so Pheasant Town is in your debt, and they're going to repay it by letting their town be your new base of operations for your final push back to Tower Town. All of you are that weird mix of exhausted but pleased, but we almost died, but generally feeling okay, feeling that you advanced the cause of good. except for you, Chauncey, because you have no idea where that monster went. One more little thing before we end. Archmage Basia, the ruler of Tower Town, is talking to Archmage Akka, the chief defender of Tower Town. They are standing in one of the great defensive towers on Tower Town's docks, looking into the harbor, where in the harbor is an immense, horrifying red octopus. And Archmage Basia looks at Akka and says, "And so what exactly is the story with this?" "Oh, it's simple, Basia. It's like I've been saying these past few weeks. Chauncey is a danger. All of those with him are a danger. And the fact that he tried to summon a red octopus to destroy Tower Town in advance of their return should be all of the proof you need." Basia shakes her head. "But I've taught him. We all taught him at the college. He's ambitious, but he's not evil." And then Archmage Akka just gestures at the octopus. Basia says, "Well, what do you plan on doing with it?" And Akka says, "Well, whereas Chauncey tried to destroy us, I think we should take the opportunity to use this gift. So, Archmage Basia, I do not plan on banishing it. I plan on making it bigger." And so we will end it right there for tonight.
These cutscenes are really taking a toll.
These cutscenes tend to, yeah.
Man.
Man.
I can't believe that we faced a hill giant with 3 heads, and what almost killed us was the water.
We don't have too much experience in water, you know?
We don't.
Plenty of hill
It's
giants.
the great equalizer. Water is the great equalizer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess making actual plans does not often work in our favor.
Well, yeah, you know, Chauncey wanted to stick to the plan, so he had to be thrown in the water.
It was all written out ahead of time.
It makes total sense.
Yep.
No,
Yeah.
stole
It
my
was-
octopus.
A foolproof plan. Not sure how it didn't turn out well.
What's nice is, as you said that, I heard a die tumble off a table and hit the ground. And I think that's just fate reminding us that the dice will tell us if plans are good or bad. But hey, the good news is you got a nice seaside town to be your base.
Sure
You
did.
can begin final preparations for your
Yeah.
return to Tower Town. You're going
And
to
we did save a town.
You
Yeah,
did
save
save
town.
a town.
With a great mascot. My Kraken-esque octopus didn't kill us. It instead appeared somewhere else to conspire against us.
Kill us later. We
Yeah.
definitely put off being killed by a giant octopus.
Yeah, with a big creepy ear. That's the part that's most unsettling for me, the GM. Knowing that it has a giant ear.
Big ear. Big ear. Chauncey's
I do.
rude nickname for a
Yeah,
villain.
At least
I know
Kraken.
what my weekend drawing challenge is going to be for myself.
If anyone wants to, please send in drawings of giant octopode. With
Yeah,
giant
octopode
ears.
is definitely the plural of octopus.
And with that homework assignment thusly given to the audience, I would like to thank you all tuning in, as always, to Knights of Prospect. This was episode 31. If you are watching it on 2MB Studios, thank you for doing so. If you like what you see here at 2MB Studios, I strongly recommend following or subscribing to their channel on Twitch to get a sense of all of the great shows that they put up all week. It's a comedy channel on Twitch. So if you like watching comedy on Twitch, good news, you're already doing that, and we wish that you continue to do so. There are great shows of all types, game shows with interesting rules and a complete wrestling league and a show in which the improv turns into doodles in real time, and we've got we've got live streaming awesome games and all of that stuff. So it is really, really fantastic. Also, while we're talking about things that are fantastic, 2MB Studios is partnering with a great organization called 3weeks.courses. It is a wonderful, wonderful organization that has an entire menu of courses. They're all 3 weeks long, and you could learn all kinds of amazing things, from getting job and career planning advice to learning how to use improvisation to run a role-playing game like this. Our January classes are underway now, but our February ones are currently enrolling. I recommend all of them, but the improv and role-playing class is very important to me because, one, I teach it, and two, everything you just listened to was fully improvised except for the first sentence I said. So if this is your kind of thing, come take the class. Until then, though, folks, we will see you next week here at Knights of Prospect. We'll be on at 7 p.m., not 8 p.m., because there's a really awesome 8 p.m. show. See you next time, and good night.